communism to capitalism, the modern Mongolia?
I think, like China, during Cultural Revolution, and you see in these sort of period, they deliberately destroy their traditional culture and also spirituality, like Buddhism. But then, see, any spirituality is very much related with our emotions. And culture also, I think, very much part of the life. So political reason try to eliminate, very difficult now look China. The Buddhist faith and other faith also now growing very rapidly. Similarly, Mongolia and also some part of Russia, the traditionally Buddhist country, once you see deliberately minimize or reduce or destroy, like Mongolia, Chepelsang, during that period, a lot of damage, a lot of monks killed, including many scholars.
Temples were destroyed.
But when so my first visit Mongolia, 1979, still communist. So many officials, outwardly communist, atheist. But when we met alone, they show religious faith. So therefore, naturally, although you see the now more capitalist sort of lifestyle, and also the material development, and with modern education, sometimes you see people in certain time, you see people more attract about material value. And then the time passes, the material value will not bring inner peace.
That's what is happening in Mongolia today.
Now China also.
Okay.
Many rich people, as far as money is concerned, material things is concerned, plenty.
Yes.
But these people, some of them, many of them, I think, you see really in deep insight, you see now they, some kind of, the deeper interest, or also try to seek some deeper meaning. In the West also. So therefore, now I think the important is, as far as the Mongolia is concerned, your nation, I think around several centuries, Buddhism is the main religious tradition. So Mongolia, actually, Buddhist country. So Mongolian way of life, culture, very much related with Buddhism. So therefore, Buddhism is one of the important aspects of Mongolian identity.
It is. It
No?
is. Right?
Like Tibetan.
Yes.
Buddhism is our sort of national sort of identity. But among Tibetan, there are some Christians, some Muslims there.
Yes.
But as a nation, Buddhism is something important. So similarly, Mongolia also that. Therefore, now you need some sort of effort for preservation of your traditional value, not just through faith, but educate. As far as Buddhism is concerned, of course, I respect all major religious traditions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all these I respect. At the same time, Buddhism, particularly the Nalanda tradition, You see, the whole tradition based on reasons.
Yes.
So therefore, number of scientists, many of them non-believer.
Yes.
But as far as Buddhism is concerned, see, every sort of they are practice based on reason. So they also showing interest.
Yes.
So therefore, I think education, knowledge
Yes.
about, you see, Buddhist philosophy, and particularly Buddhist psychology. So that as a part of secular education, and this, see, not as a religion,
Yes.
but as a sort of academic subject,
Yes.
you can introduce.
Yes.
That's, I think, proper way for preservation of Buddha Dharma
I see.
with modern development.
Yes. Mongolia today, we call it democratic capitalism, which creates more material value, hopefully, arguably. Do you agree with the democratic capitalism is being the best out of all forms that humankind tried?
I think so. I think so. A democracy is the, I think, future of humanity, the political sort of system. I think that's the only way. Because so I always sort of telling people, and also I believe, the world belongs to 7 billion human beings. And each nation, you see, belongs to the people of the nation, of the country.
Yes.
Not religious leader, not one political party, or kings or queens. Sometimes they come, sometimes they go. So people always remain there. So therefore, my own case, since 2011, I totally sort of retired from political responsibility. Not only myself retired, but 4-century-old tradition, Dalai Lama Institution, automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality. Now that ended. Because I believe democracy is the best. Through election, free election, you choose their leader. And the leader should be accountable to the people. If leadership goes something wrong, the people have the sort of power to dismiss like that. So democratic system is the best system,
Okay.
in spite of some drawback. And then capitalism. I think capitalism gives people the freedom of utilize individual creativity. Centralized autonomy, centralized the economy system,
Yes.
you see, is much harmful to utilize individual creativity. At the same time, capitalism, like some of the capitalist country, you see, complete freedom, at the same time, proper divisions about power, legislative, and then administrations, and then independent judiciary system. Then, so some sort of regulations.
That's not very clear case in Mongolia. They are confusing.
So you have to work.
Yes, we have to. Welcome. Your Holiness, I visited India, I visited Dharamsala. I saw people happy. Nobody is arguing. Though India is one of the extreme poor and rich country, but everybody is smiling. And yet, if we ask questions, are we smiling in Mongolia? No, not that much. What makes a nation happy?
And that's why you see the combination material value, material development, and inner development must go together. We should not treat it as a mission. We are human beings. We have the feeling,
Yes.
pains and pleasure and
Yes.
these things. So therefore, this very much related with our inner way of thinking. So inner value is the real source to bring inner peace. Money, power will not.
Yes.
Sometimes I think people become richer, more powerful,
Yes.
more anxiety,
Yes.
more stress.
Yes. How can
And then I think Mongolian may be traditionally warrior, so better to less smile.
how can a society also, you said about material and spiritual life also important, but now at this time today we are divided by political interests, by our provinces. We are all time sort of argue in Mongolia. How can we get together in peace and harmony?
Now we need wider perspective look. Sometimes when I met some Taiwanese friend, I telling them the different party, sometimes you see too much concern their own party, forgetting or less interest about national interest.
Yes.
So similarly, it is possible, you see, different people, different group of people, only interest their own sort of the concern. So all part of Mongolian, all common responsibility is build healthy Mongolia.
Exactly.
Prosperity,
What the word.
at the same time, rich spirituality. That's the, everybody's interest, all Mongolians' interest. And not only the independent Mongolia, but also you see your brothers in China and also in Russia. So you are the independent Mongolian sort of country. So you see, you should lead combination of material value, material development, and a several century old your rich tradition. Combine these two things. Material development, modern technology, modern education provide us physical comfort. And traditional value brings inner comfort.
Yes. What spirituality and religion, and according to your teachings, not necessarily a must be together, can be secular ethics, and why that spiritual life is so important, must be for happiness. Why?
That is now, according a medical scientist, the peace of mind is very important for good health, physical health.
Very simple.
So, constant anger, hatred, fear, very bad for our health. So inner peace of mind is very, very important. Now, peace of mind you can't buy on supermarket.
Yes.
I think maybe some Mongolian supermarket can selling. I think peace of mind.
Some people think in Mongolia they can buy it.
Oh.
You know how?
Oh.
They do something wrong, bad, but they go to temple and ask them, please pray and forgive me, and they pay money and pray. How does it work? It doesn't work, isn't it?
That's right. Particularly we Buddhists, you see, we have no concept of creator. So Buddha, as teacher, his responsibility is teach us, showing us how to build peace of mind. Since he not as a creator, so our future will not give by Buddha. Our future must create by ourselves.
Yes.
And right motivation with right vision and right behavior. Only Buddha says, you are your own master. So your future depends on you yourself.
how important compassion is. I'm asking the question because in Mongolia, they regard unfortunate poor people not in good way. They even think you don't give them much, nothing, because they had a bad life in their previous life. So they are not sort of bad people. That's what they say. And very bad attitude to poor people, beggars. How can we change it?
That's, I think the wrong sort of wrong view. In India also, the caste system, they usually sometimes you say people from sort of well-being sort of community, so they telling the poor people, low caste, they say, "Oh, do your own karma, and nothing can be. That's your own destination." So that's from the Buddhist viewpoint totally wrong. So, Buddha state, we all have Buddha nature.
How important is to give?
So, now here, the poorer section of people, she should develop self-confidence. We are equal. So those who are more better sort of, I say, the more successful life, better family, the poorer section of people, also same human being, they should work hard and be equal. And then the richer side of the people should help in this in the form of education, health, and some training. So that's the way to reduce this gap, rich and poor. So it is totally wrong. Look, the poorer section of people, or your own sort of karma, or that's your destination. It's totally wrong.
In Mongolia,
Buddha takes special care, beggars, poor people, and sick people. One occasion, Buddha saw one person sick, nobody taking care. The Buddha himself, you see, washing his feet, his foot, and then Ananda, you see, let Ananda bring some water, like that. So that's our teacher sort of, they show us. You see, that's the example.
That's I think missing not that much. That's something what we need in Mongolia.
And then this is sometimes among Tibetan. Also, I think Mongolian, maybe some higher lama, they remain on throne. When they, you see, come across some poor people, they may, or they are too high, may not take care of these things. That's totally wrong, totally wrong.
Okay, in Mongolia.
So these are, I think, there are, you see, any religion, the actual societies or certain sort of what's the habit also influence. So some of our sort of monastic institution or lama institution, a little bit feudal sort of habit. I think there are some. That now we must change. We must realize that. We must change.
Your Holiness, it's a very important issue for many Mongolians about superstition and religion, because nowadays even many Mongolians think there are good days, bad days. They don't even cut their hair one day, they don't travel the other day. What are bad days for you, and are they correct?
As Buddha stated clearly, things, you see, happen due to your own previous karma. Karma means action.
Yes.
So that means everything depends on your own behavior, not due to certain stars or certain days like that.
I see.
Then
So you
the
don't
fifth Dalai Lama, in his autobiography, you see, he mentioned very detailed the day his birth, the stars, all these he mentioned, and then at the end he mentioned, although at that same time a lot of dogs also born.
So they are always are good.
Yes.
What is a difference between shamanism and Buddhism? You know, in some ways, Tsam dance we had before in early 30s, before they destroyed our temples. Tsam dance, it looks like, and also the shamanism, shamans, looks like the same. What a difference.
Now that, as far as Tibet is concerned, before Buddhism reached Tibet, that means mainly 7th century and 8th century. So before that, the Pan tradition, similar shamanism. So I think whole Asia, this area, I think shamanism is native religion. So there are sort of main sort of also the sort of main thing is simply worship some different deities, the local deities, and then so after Buddhism reached Tibet, at the beginning some difficulties, even in some cases some clash. That's understandable. You see, when some new ideas,
Like
new
later in
tradition,
Mongolia too.
come from outside, come from India, then local sort of spirituality, local tradition, sort of a little bit sort of resistance. Then time passes, the Buddhism is a realistic approach, a lot of reasons. So then eventually, you see, Tibetan emperors, they fully accept Buddhist teaching or Buddhist tradition, Buddhism, and then eventually, among the Pambu tradition, traditional religion, Tibetan own sort of local religion, also then become much enriched through Buddhist concept, Buddhist philosophy. Now today in Tibet, the Pan tradition very similar that of Buddhist tradition.
I see.
And okay.
You have on Choijing.
Huh?
Choijing.
Chojong.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Chojong. Chojong as a Buddhist will not pay much attention. Chojong. Local spirit.
I see.
That also the Buddha Dharma Sangha. The Chojong not include, they are much below than Kindun Sangha.
I see.
So these are the different form of body and life, but actually same. They also have the attachment, anger, ignorance, jealousy, like human being. So they can, I mean, we should treat them as a Buddhist, treat them as a friend,
The friend. Right.
not as a sort of refugee.
I see.
Temne.
I see. I see.
Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. These three are sort of refuge.
I see.
These Chojong, not refuge.
What is a so-called Shugdeng?
Oh, Shungden,
Yeah.
among these spirit,
I see.
some very controversial spirit.
I see.
Last 400 years, it starts during 5th Dalai Lama.
I see.
So 5th Dalai Lama, they described this spirit is something due to some wrong prayer. Then you see one Lama, Thapa Gyaltsen, due to his wrong prayer, and he become evil spirit.
Oh,
And Fifth Dalai Lama say very harmful.
I see. So
Like that.
You said a wrong prayer. Prayer can be wrong. If it is wrong, it can harm you as well.
Yes, you see, you done some merit work,
Yes.
and then dedicate. Oh, I will born on strong spirit, like that. Then very harmful, like that. And then So in some one time, I myself also used to start worship that spirit due to my ignorance.
Did you?
No? I think me as a 14th Dalai Lama, I think some period I really disgraced the previous Dalai Lamas. The 5th Dalai Lama, you see, concern is this very, very harmful. So the 13th Dalai Lama also used to put a lot of restriction. So I heard, but not fully convinced. Then due to my junior tutor, he very much fond, you see, about this spirit. But you see, he treated this as a sort of servant, as a friend, not something protector like that.
I see.
So I also used to then follow him. In spite of my senior tutor, very much sort of suspect about this spirit. He always, you see, remained distant. So 1951 till 1970, I worshipped that. Then gradually I developed, you see, some suspicion. Then I carry thorough research, last 400 years history. Then it becomes very clear. This is very harmful.
I see.
And another thing is, you see, in Tibetan tradition, the non-sectarian way, like first Dalai Lama, second Dalai Lama, third Dalai Lama, fifth Dalai Lama, pursue more non-sectarian way. Then 13th Dalai Lama also. Like them, many the well-known great spiritual teachers, many of them follow non-sectarian. At the same time, you see some individual sectarian also there. So this, you see, one sort of condition. If you worship this spirit, then you should not touch other tradition.
I see.
Or Gelugpa, Sajja some extent. Gelug, there are some. So the Gelugpa, once you worship this, even his own home text of Nyingma tradition should not keep. If you keep, this will harm.
I see.
So this is very bad for promotion of non-sectarian.
I see.
Too much sectarian in the past Tibet. Sometimes you see some mini sort of Shia Sunni fighting, some kind of mini fighting. In Tibet also you see it occurred sometimes, unfortunately. Too much sectarian. That totally wrong. Gelug, Nyingma, Sajja, Kagyu, all follow of Nalanda tradition, all follow of Buddha. So therefore, you see this spirit very, very harmful
I see.
to carry non-sectarian way like that.
Your Holiness, I have some questions on just as a human being, on a physical human being. What are the true value of a life?
I usually call, usually believe, and also telling, happy life.
To be happy.
If you see, in order to gain some sort of short-term happiness, eliminate your enemy, and you see too much competition, through that way reach something. Through such method, long run will not bring real happy life.
I see. Wow.
You help people. So any circumstances, there's possibility to help and help them, serve them. If not, at least restrain harming other. That's the real source of happy life. At the end of our life, then reflect all your sort of all your life, then feel very happy. I done according to my own capacity. I done as a meaningful life. Feel happy. If it's more because of the cruel or clever or cunning way, make some money, some fame, at the time of death, no longer any use of the money, or no use of, you see, those jewelries.
Yes.
And then, and the political power also nothing.
Unfortunately, many people, in particular our elected officials, are doing exactly the same, and we have a corruption in Mongolia. How to fight? How to stop it?
This is, I think, worldwide, sometimes I call cancer of the whole world. China, India, and many other countries. Some small country, maybe less corruption. So now, I think you need the educated, healthy society, then proper rule of law, and independent judiciary system. Then also media, free media. So all these wrongdoings, usually you see something hiding. This must make public, make clear, make known the public. So the transparency, these are, I think, the more effective sort of the method, more sort of balanced way. Although complete freedom. At the same time, freedom not use improper way. So the free sort of media watching you. And then finally, judiciary system, independent.
Welcome. In Mongolia, people try to be different, richer materially, and there's a less trend to be humble, humility. These values are coming not that big, like I see very humble lamas here, monks. How important is modesty?
That's
for
very important.
somebody's life.
But very important for your own interest. When I meet, you see, people, I never consider I'm Dalai Lama.
I say,
I consider I'm one of the 7 billion human beings. We are same. You see, that mental attitude, you see, brings much closer. I consider them as a human brothers, sisters. They also consider me as another human being. On that level, we are same. If I am emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, then actually I myself isolate from them. Result? More stress, more anxiety.
how do you do that? Because everybody is praying, thousands of people are sitting. You are Dalai Lama, you are there, and yet you have this approach. Where what is happening? Why you keep
They are
yourself
also
like this?
human being. So we must go fundamental level. Then 7 billion human beings, same. The secondary level differences, different nationality, different color, rich and poor, different faith. Then you see there are a lot of differences. I think Mongolian, I think your population is about 1 million, isn't it?
3 million.
3 million. So 3 millions. Mongolian level, human level, same. Secondary level, some are believer, some are non-believer. Among the believers, some Buddhist, some Christian, some Muslim. And then within same sort of faith, some rich, some poor. Some clever, some more honest. There are a lot of differences. So you should go fundamental level. I always telling, actually, compassionate mind on the level of human being, not religious,
I see.
not different nationality. Then, you see, the concept, strong concept of we and they. That is source of problem. So if we go deeper level, human level, then no boundary, no differences. So we need a sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. That I always emphasize. And since I telling other people, I myself, you should consider I'm one of the human beings. That really brings me more friends.
Yes, you are.
If I too much emphasis on also the holy Dalai Lama, on remain also the holy throne, then you become lonely person.
How, Your Holiness, is important education for all ages. I see you are updated all the time, your knowledge, education. I mean, education is not only for children, for every age.
Yes.
Please tell us about that.
Education means gaining sort of deeper knowledge. One Tibetan great master, I think 13th century, Sajapantita. So learning, even the person next day dying, still worthwhile to learn.
Worthwhile to learn. Is it enlightenment? How to get enlightenment? Education, enlightenment different.
Enlightenment, in terms of, you see, the certain, also the meaning or level. Of course, the better educated person, more enlightened. We can say that. And then, in the scientific field, those scientists, more, when we talk, you get more sort of alignment, like that.
Nice.
And then spiritual level, enlightenment. Now, for example, Buddha as an enlightened person, that is something very, very deeper level.
I see. I have some few questions on questions that are puzzling current modern Mongolia today. One, in Mongolia, when a person passes away, next day you go to Lama and ask, so what shall we do? And then the Lama, they said, now I will open the golden box. And when they open that, they supposedly open the box, and they say, oh, that person lived 1 year more than he is supposed to live, or 1 year short than he is supposed to live. Then what does that mean? If you can tell somebody's length of life, why you couldn't tell us before? What is that?
You should ask the Lama.
Is it the same tradition? You don't know that?
No. I think the astrologer, astrologers sometimes just say that.
Okay.
Of course, I respect the culture of astrology,
Okay.
but I do not believe much.
All right. Another concern, Buddhism. I see today you teach in Tibetan language. Tibetan people understand in their own language teaching of Buddha, which is not the case in Mongolia. People don't understand. They say, so can we, or is it better to be taught in the Mongolian language?
Yes, I think traditionally your language, and also I think modern, like Chinese, some traditional, which now common people do not understand. So difficult to read. So I think you should have more translation in common your Mongolian language, and then I think eventually, if possible, last now over decade, I think more than 15 years, say we start one work out of Kanjur into Tengyur, about 300 volumes, over 300 volumes. We categorize 3 parts. One, science, one philosophy, one religion. So the science is common, universal.
Yes.
Say in the conjure danger, you see a lot of explanation about our mind, about the particles. So these should make separate. So we already one textbook, the first part, your science. So that now some with full cooperation with some scientists, some educationists, we now working making one draft of curriculum which can be fit in secular education field. In America, some scientists now last, I think almost now 10 years, they already carry some experiment sort of project. Very good result. Now in India, you see, among Tibetan refugee school, we also now carrying some sort of explanation, lesson about the Buddhist science. So that I think in Mongolia, as a Buddhist country, I think easily it can adopt. The individual student may be believer, non-believer, or some Christian, but as a secular sort of secular way, secular subject, universal subject. So I think you can teach. So these, I feel, in order to develop inner peace, the destroyer of inner peace is not outside thing, but our own destructive emotion. So in order to tackle or dealing with these destructive emotion, you should have better knowledge. You should have more knowledge with the nature of emotion and a different kind of emotion. Then you can deal more effectively about these destructive emotion. This is not at all. You see, they not talking about next life or nirvana. We're simply talking how to carry healthy body, healthy mind, happy family, happy humanity.
My last question is, Your Holiness, what would be your message to your followers in Mongolia, please?
Firstly, I always was telling Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist, Chinese Buddhist, Mongolian, Korean, Japanese, so on. I usually was telling them, we should be 21st century Buddhist. That means Buddhist faith with fuller knowledge about whole Buddhist system, not just a blind faith. Traditionally, many people just blind faith, do not know what's Buddhism, just a faith. That I think outdated. So in order to be 21st century, you should study more. You should pay more attention about study. That I always telling. Then Mongolian, as our twin brothers, sisters, and me personally as a Dalai Lama, the very name of Dalai, that word is Mongolian word. So I always assign Dalai Lama. So if asked what's the meaning of Dalai, that's a Mongolian. Now you have freedom and also the economic development quite, I think, satisfactorily. Sometimes with difficulties, but basically you see improving. So now you have, I think, good future. Now you must prepare